Honestly, could not have picked a better day to film this crystal white 2026 Volvo XC60. This looks fantastic beside the snow-covered trees today. Really cool. So this is a refresh. This is the 2026 refresh. And you might be thinking to yourself, what has changed? Because it kind of looks exactly the same. The grille is slightly different. We have an intersecting diagonal line pattern on the front. And then at the rear, we have darkened rear taillights. Other than that, it doesn't look much different. There are new wheel options. This is running 22-inch wheels, and I'll talk about those in a few minutes, but the big change is in the interior, and it's this 11.2-inch infotainment screen, which is a big upgrade from the 9-inch that used to be in the XC60. But before we get into the specifics, let's talk about the trims and let's get this car started. So for 2026, we have two powertrain options. We have this B5, which is a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, makes 247 horsepower and 266 pound-feet of torque. It has an 8-speed automatic transmission. And standard, we have all-wheel drive, which is a blessing today because of all this snow. But if you want a faster XC60, you can get that plug-in hybrid T8, which makes 455 horsepower and 523 pound-feet of torque. I have driven it in the past. It's very fast, it's very quick, it's very expensive, and I think more people will probably go for this B5. And you know what? I've had no issues with the power in this vehicle. It's by no means the fastest in the segment, but I think it does the job well. So with the B5, you essentially get 3 trims: Core, Plus, and Ultra. On the plug-in hybrid, you get those 3 as well, but then they have a Polestar engineered Model 2. So in Canada, this B5 starts at $61,000, and in the US, you're looking at $51,000. This one right here is the Ultra, and this one's spec'd to $78,000 Canadian. So yeah, that sounds like a lot of money because it is, but if you do compare this to, say, like the new X3 or the new Q5, the materials in here are better, to be honest. Like, this hasn't changed a lot, but that's a good thing because they haven't cheapened it. Whereas like the X3 and Q5, there's a lot of hard plastics. They're cool and they handle way better than this. This feels like luxurious, like this feels premium. So this crystal white color looks pretty cool with all the snow today, but I think if I was gonna buy one of these, I'd buy that Forest Lake green color or denim blue. So really timeless design for the XC60. And to reiterate, this is the big change, the front grille with these diagonal intersecting lines. Really not much else has changed. You still got your cool Thor hammer daytime running lights. These headlights are also adaptive, so they do move around as you turn the vehicle. Okay, side profile is awesome looking. We have 22-inch wheels. I think though that I would opt for 21s or 20s, which they have available, just because these are a little bit of a harsh ride, even with this air suspension, I'd say. But I mean, there's no denying they look sweet. So at the side, blacked out trim. It has keyless entry on both doors, which is fantastic. Some vehicles only ever have it on the front, which is really annoying. It's on both, and these handles will light up at night, and they have a really good feel to them. Feels like a pretty solid car. Okay, and then the rear darkened tail lights, apparently. They still look good. It's a cool design, again, timeless. Very interesting thing I noticed on the build sheet for this is that it said a feature was hidden tailpipes. I don't know if that's a feature, Volvo. It's actually cool when you can see the tailpipes, but I get it, that they're just kind of hiding the ones that shoot to the ground. Overall, I think it looks fantastic still. They haven't messed anything up, and they can't because this is their best-selling vehicle. But yeah, what do you think about the design on this Volvo XC60? Do you like it or not? Well, we got your votes. Let's see them. All right, so let's talk about this interior space and let's get into this brand new 11.2-inch infotainment screen. So for people that have never been in a Volvo before, it's a very unique way of turning the vehicle on. Basically, there's this switch and you just switch it to the right. It's not like this in the electric Volvos anymore. You just literally get into an electric Volvo, hit drive and go. So 11.2-inch infotainment screen run by Qualcomm Snapdragon cockpit platform. This has 21% better pixel density, looks better for sure than the previous one, and they say it's twice as fast. I would say it's 1,000 times faster. The other one was so slow and laggy. This is terrific. Let's get out of CarPlay here. So this does have wired CarPlay and wired Android Auto. My phone is plugged in and I put it in the center console. Unfortunately, no wireless CarPlay, which is odd because they did redesign the center console a bit to have this wireless charger, but you're never going to use this wireless charger if you just have your phone plugged in all the time. I guess the passenger can use the wireless charger. But yes, this is quite a bit more modern. They could have probably made thinner bezels, in my opinion, and before it was integrated into the dash. Obviously, they didn't want to change too much, so it's just kind of stuck on the dash, but you know what? It works better, so I'm not complaining. Though, one observation, we have the upgraded Bowers & Wilkins system in here, and the speakers right here, just seems like this is blocking a little bit of the sound coming out, but I'm sure, it probably doesn't do that much. So in the XC60, you have 3 different audio options. You have the standard 10-speaker high-performance audio system. Then you have an optional upgrade, which is a 14-speaker Harman Kardon premium audio system. Or you can get this Bowers & Wilkins sound system, which has 15 speakers. This is a $3,800 option for this vehicle. And they have their own little app, which you click. And this actually sounds really, really good. It's just, would you pay almost $4,000 for it? This does have Google Assistant, which will do things like heated seats or cooled seats, your heated steering wheel. It'll do Google Maps and also your HVAC controls. So we do have some buttons still for our music controls and our rear and front defrost and emergency button. But otherwise, everything's kind of done in the screen. If you want to change things like drive mode, you've got buttons down here. So you hit drive mode, and then you only have 2 drive mode options, standard and off-road, and you can change the steering feel and suspension feel. Mostly when I drive around, I just make it firm for all, but some of the roads out here are pretty bumpy, so I've put it on soft. This does have SiriusXM, and you can get more apps by signing in and downloading. I don't really feel like signing in and downloading, but you can get YouTube on here and stuff. That's cool. For the most part, I've basically just been using CarPlay. I hardly use the actual infotainment system, but you do have a really good 360 camera, lots of good views. You got that solid top-down view, and it fills the entire screen, which is great. Lots of different angles to choose from. Pretty crisp front camera too. Snow is starting to fall again. And then, yeah, your climate controls are built into the screen. If you want to change your heated seats, you have 3 increments of heated seats, 3 increments of heated steering wheel, and 3 increments of ventilated seats. And you can run all of it at the same time. So you're just like blowing hot air at yourself. Well, it feels pretty cold there actually. The heated steering wheel gets extremely hot. This is a thing with Volvos, which is nice. And it's nice to have increments so that you're not burning your hands always. But if you want to change your climate, it's done down here, which I have turned off right now because I didn't want it to sound loud. But we hit auto. Yeah, it's kind of annoying that you have to go into a second screen to change your fan speed when just turning a dial would be so much easier in my opinion, but I know a lot of people will complain, just use voice commands, but I think it's easier to just change a dial than to go through the motions of voice commands that don't always work, you know what I mean? We've got a nice luxurious Volvo steering wheel. The only not luxurious part though would be all this piano black, which gets very smudgy. It looks nice when it's clean, but it mostly is always smudged up. So aside from this infotainment screen, then we have a larger driver's display, which hasn't really changed much. Basically, you can throw your maps in the middle there, or you can have it more minimal. There's not a whole lot you can do with the driver's display, but it looks good and it's crisp. And then lastly, you have this very fancy shifter. It's easy to use. You have this wood panel that you pull back, and it shows your cup holders and a 12-volt plug. The only thing I would notice is that the lines are inconsistent, which makes it not seem as premium, but otherwise, it looks pretty good. And I do like this wood on the dash. Yeah, the interior is nice. And then you do have a center console, which I have my wallet in, and there's your USB-Cs, which you use to plug in your phone. When it comes to seats, Volvo makes some of the best seats, and you've maybe heard this in other reviews. If you're watching a bunch of reviews on the XC60, it's true. They're incredibly comfortable. They've got a lot of different customizations. They've got leg extensions on both sides, and they're just generally very comfortable. I've done actually a lot of highway driving with this week, and this has been very comfortable. And speaking of seats, we have 2 memory seats for both the driver and the passenger. Okay, so one negative about this interior this week, there is something creaking. I can't tell if it's the screen or heads-up display, steering wheel. There's something that creaks at very low speeds. I have no idea what it is. But then once you get past like 30 kilometers, you never hear it again. So we've got a nice panoramic sunroof, makes it feel very spacious. I do have a decent amount of leg room. If I was a little bit taller, I might be getting close. I have both seats at the same position. These are Nappa leather seats, and they're very comfortable. Like, Volvo just kills it with these seats, to be honest. And they're heated, so left side, right side, 3 increments of heated seats, and you control it with this touchscreen right here. Fan speed, temperature control, and heated seats are all controlled by this touchscreen. We've got 2 vents, and then we've got 2 vents on the side as well. So lots of airflow, which is nice. We've got cup holders, and yeah, pretty good rear seats. Also, 2 USB-Cs at the bottom. Also, even the back door panel has good materials. Nothing, no hard plastics going on. That was weird. So you have 21.6 cubic feet with all the seats up. And then when you throw those seats down, you get 63.3 cubic feet. So a really cool feature with this air suspension is you can raise and lower the vehicle. It's already low, so we put it up. And then if we want to lower it, you just press it down. This is handy for loading things in. And it looks like this XC60 has a spare tire. So there is no way to put the seats down from the back. You have to actually go in, press this button, and lower it yourself. And the seats fold pretty flat. This Volvo XC60 also has a pass-through. You just click that down, and you can put skis through there. So, here we go in the Volvo XC60. It's no longer snowing now, and now it's raining. And all the snow is melting away. This is the same day. I started filming in the morning, now it's the afternoon. This is just weather in Ontario in March. It's always just crazy. It was thundering like 2 minutes ago. Anyways, we're driving the Volvo XC60. And I have to say, the air suspension really helps make it feel comfortable out on these bumpy country roads, especially after the winter. So many potholes and all that. But I will say the ride quality would be better if you had 20-inch wheels on this car. And the 20s look pretty nice. So I don't think I would option for these 22s. They look fantastic. Like, this car looks so cool with the 22-inch rims or wheels on it. But I think if I was going to be driving this all the time, I'd prefer to just run the 20s. And with the air suspension, it'll feel amazing. Now, the air suspension is part of this Ultra package, and I've never driven an XC60 without air suspension, so I can't really tell you how much different it feels. I know people get worried about air suspension and longevity if you're going to keep this car for a long time. So definitely, if you can, test drive both. So it's turned into a pretty garbage day. But it's pretty quiet in the cabin. I do hear tire noise from those 22s a little bit. And again, that's just another case for just get the 20s. So visibility around the XC60 is great. That window at the back, which I think you can see through that angle, yep, it's huge. So there's really no bad blind spots in here. And like I just said, this is a comfortable, kind of luxurious drive. It's not the sharpest. The steering is decently direct, but you're not going to be ripping around corners in your XC60. I have everything tightened up to firm. I am also weary of how bad the roads are at the moment, but yeah, it doesn't feel like flying around corners is what it wants to do, but it still has good pick up and go. I wouldn't say it's a slouch by any means. Yeah, it pulls pretty good. No complaints with how it pulls. And then we fly into these corners, which I don't really feel like this vehicle wants to do. It's more of a luxury, comfortable cruising vehicle, not a performance vehicle. If you want performance, go for an X3 or a Porsche Macan. Like, it takes off pretty good. It's like, you're never yearning for more power in this. It feels pretty solid. And the transmission shifts really smoothly. So fuel economy, what are we getting in terms of fuel economy? Well, I'm getting 11 liters per 100 kilometers, and that's over the last 400 kilometers. That's how much mileage I've put on this vehicle so far. Not spectacular. However, I am pushing this vehicle. I am idling a lot, but there is a fair amount of highway in there too. So the fuel economy is not spectacular. I think you could probably get around 10 liters per 100 kilometers if you're driving this normally. But yeah, it's not a fuel economy machine, that's for sure. You'll get better fuel economy in that plug-in hybrid, especially if you just use the battery a lot. So on board we have a 71 liter fuel tank, which is a good size. I had about 700 kilometers of range when I picked this thing up, which is a lot. That's pretty good. I'm 160 to empty, so I'm not close to empty yet. But when I do get to empty, I will fill this up and I'll let you know how much it costs to fill this from empty. Gas prices have really skyrocketed, so I'm sure it'll be maybe more than what it usually will be, but we'll see. And yes, this takes 91 premium fuel. On the driver's display, there is a battery and it shows if it's charged or half charged or when it's charging. That's your 48 volt mild hybrid battery. It's not going to give you any range. It's just there to help you with this auto start stop system, which I will say works very well. You hardly notice the engine kick in. Okay, so the auto start stop system has been engaged, so the car is off. So with this mild hybrid system, it's using a 48 volt battery to kind of like keep everything going. When you let go, and it's very smooth. Like you hardly can tell that the engine just kicked back in. The Subaru Outback I was in a couple weeks ago was so jittery when the auto start stop went off. Volvo's done a good job with this. The wipers are very quiet too. Even that, I've had that rear wiper just going back and forth and didn't realize it, but I couldn't even hear it. So wipers are good. Well, really good experience with the XC60 overall. Nothing major to complain about. Obviously, I would rather have physical controls, but this infotainment is a major upgrade from the past. The ride quality, mostly good. I would just get the 20-inch wheels. I wouldn't get these 22s, no matter how good they look. And yeah, it's a good experience overall. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.